Hello, Sandy Shellis, and I am following up on yesterday's live stream I did. I read an article called "You're Telling Me Technology Like This Exists, but We're Still Using Oil and Gas and Coal?" And it was by Arjun Walia, and it was in Collective Evolution. But it was controversial to a point, and I knew this going in, right? So here I am, and we get some awesome comments, and I decided that the comments I want to talk about are a couple of the ones from YouTube. And you guys got to tell me if I'm coming in all right. I have everything plugged in, but I don't know. We're having a storm, and it might. I'm looking at myself. I look like pixelated woman on the one thing. So just let me know. And if you can hear me, I hope I'm not too pixelated. That's the problems of living in the country, and it usually passes. Hey, Ed. All right, so let's get started. So yesterday was the article, and I put it up on YouTube. Now, YouTube is a great deal different, well, in a way, in a different audience. And the article talked, I said, and I had called it an article trip into physics, energy, free energy, Tesla, suppression, and quantum physics. And it was interesting because there was a scientist that was talking about these facts of physics, that they could actually have energy that was kind of limitless. You'll have to go back and listen to it from yesterday because wow, we got a Michael Packer's here with a long one. We'll talk about that, but wow, Michael, let's wait till the end because I want to read some of these. So on YouTube, I have some good ones, and I'm going to read. The first one I'm going to read is from, and these are people I all know because they all follow me on YouTube. It's a very small little community. And hi, Brian, and everybody. Wow, people are joining. Okay, so maybe you watched yesterday. I don't know. The first one, Jay Condor. Now, this is my friend in Brazil, and he does good commentary about what's going on in Brazil. So he writes, "Are you serious? Or did I miss the irony? Hope I did not." Okay. So there you go. That's the first one. I answered him, because I also had posted that what I was reading about was viewed as conspiracy stuff. And I thought, it was really interesting because it had elements of Tesla, and it had elements of suppression, and it had elements of things that actually could happen. But the physics part is where I was asking people to help me because I don't know, a lot about it. So I would like me to learn, but also my followers to learn if there's stuff to learn. Oh, look at this. Kevin Hester's here. I don't know. Let me see if I can see you. Yes. Hi, Kevin. Look at that. And Jeff's here. Yesterday, I couldn't see the comments, so I left one up forever. So anyway, I was kind of like, all right, let's see where this goes. So I really want to read this other one, and I got to find it because when you're on here, Unsubsurf. Now, this dude, he does some live streams also, and he says this: "You are brave for covering this." He's been hearing about it forever. He says, "I didn't want to get laughed out of the building on top of being skeptical myself." So I told him, I said, "I already get laughed out of the building, so what the hell's the difference?" I say right away, I'm not a scientist and I'm not a physicist. I'm reading this as the clueless person that I am, who's just learning all of these concepts for the first time. And they all know this, but it was funny. Then I got another one that I got some serious ones, but I want to read the funny ones first because my people, they make me laugh, and it is a great thing to be able to laugh. Okay, David Henderson. Now he's got the Dodo tribe, and he does artwork. I share his artwork, right? He writes, Oh, I could generate free energy by focusing my mind and harnessing the biomagnetic radiation in the fourth dimensional universe. You go try it sometime. It works. Now, whether he's talking about something like I have, which is medical licensed marijuana, cannabis for pain, or he's just talking shit, I wrote back to him. I said, David, I can harness free energy too by putting a harness on my daughter's Rottweiler and attaching it to our yard cart and letting him loose. The heavy cart makes it to the other side of the yard, and it was free. Well, besides the vet bills, the food, the energy takes to handle him in the first place. So I found humor in some of these, and it was fun. So here we go. I'm going to give you the first, what I thought was a pretty good, serious response from Andreas Hofer. Hi, Andreas. Okay, Andreas gets very serious here. I think that even if free energy would exist, it could be so dangerous that in the moment it would come out into the public realm, it would not save us. Because it would mean a pathway to a super weapon for terrorists. When you have a little box which runs the whole energy for your house, car, etc., you could set even so much more energy free to obliterate the whole planet Earth in a millisecond. Humanity is much too immature to handle the zero energy thing. Do you know the whole Judy Wood explanation of the 9/11 event? A free energy weapon took down the whole World Trade Complex. If this is true, that free energy weapons are out there, we are on the brink of immediate total destruction. Holy crap, who would have thought? We are anyway. Look who we have in the presidency in the United States. So he writes, it's a double-edged sword, like any technical thing we ever invented. P.S. If everyone had his little free energy box, still humanity would blow itself up to 20, 50, 100 billion people on Earth. Could you imagine the levels of ecosystem destruction and depletion of limited resources that would mean? My gosh, Andreas, you scared me. And Emily wrote, nothing can have more than 100% efficiency. That's basic thermodynamics. She answered what I asked for. I asked for help. You know, I asked to understand this. I wanted to understand this. I'm going to go down a little bit now. See, I've got a really long one, but it's hard to understand. The guy calls himself Void Singing Yang, but he's like this brain, right? And hi, Heidi. Okay, I see people coming in. And he gave me this really long explanation because I actually asked him to read this. He's into quantum physics. He's into things that are interesting to me. You know, most of them go over my head, and I'll be honest about it but that's why I asked him. So he says, I like your asides to the reading in terms of abrupt global warming. The main issue is entropy. Entropy, entropy. So we know the amount of heat being released into the atmosphere by global warming is how many equivalents of nuclear bombs a day? It is quite staggering. And so entropy, as defined by standard physics, assumes the Earth's natural radiation of heat back into the atmosphere. The infrared heat absorbed by CO2 is actually an increase in entropy in comparison to the sunlight entering the atmosphere. Why? Because the energy is redshifted to a lower frequency of energy from the cosmic rays. It is reflected by the Earth into a longer wavelength than what came from the sun directly. And then, ironically, it is considered that civilization technology then converts the entropy of carbon-based energy into work, which is against entropy. So if you want to read his, you have to go to the YouTube and read the comment. He gave me all kinds of links to look at. And, you know, that's exactly what I asked. And if anybody is following me that also doesn't, understand a lot of this stuff, whether it's real or not. And the Reddit pages that I read were like, saying, oh, this stuff is just a bunch of crap. And there is a bunch of crap out there, but this one sounded so interesting. And it's still interesting to me, even if my friends on YouTube busted it up. But they do it with such finesse and such humor. And all of you on YouTube, mwah, peace. And here on Facebook. Anyway, so he gave me all kinds of stuff on efficiency and solar panels and other things like that. So, and Basil actually gave me an answer. Basil is also coming. He lives in the Finger Lakes. He's had some issues on his property like we have this year in New York. And he wrote, the most important point in all 3D physics is time. Time is the measurement of motion. If there is another dimension where time is not in the equation, where gravity and its cousin magnetism produce a state where there is no charge, so-called time travel would not require energy. There would be no resistance. So then I said, time travel. So this free energy is not possible. Then he wrote me back. He said, I don't want to send you down a rabbit hole, but he talks about something I should look up, the Hutchinson effect. And it is the theory in which harmonics can change the state of matter. So he goes on a little more. It says, imagine causing metal to liquefy by using harmonics rather than heat. So there's been some, talk on this, and it was cool. And bye-bye, Kim, I see you have to go. Okay, it's cool. This is not a long one. Well, then here's a good one. This is Density McCartney, and he's from Germany. He writes, The Big Bamboozle, Fire from Ice, Philip Marshall, Eugene Maloff, Seth Rich, etc. have been silenced for reasons, and I quote, some of the biggest men in the U.S. in the field of commerce and manufacture are afraid of somebody and of something. They know that there is a power somewhere so organized, so subtle, so watchful, so interlocked, so complete, so pervasive that they had better not speak above their breath when they speak of condemnation of it. Woodrow Wilson, 28th President of the United States. So this comment leads me to believe that our country is founded on this kind of corruption. And it just kept snowballing into the fossil fuel industry, didn't it? Right? That was a pretty thoughtful comment, I thought. And I thanked him. Now, I have another one that is from my buddy Etienne Petier. And kudos if you're watching. Now, he writes, the free energy myth is the world of urban legend, not in the three-dimensional time-space continuum. Dream on. This is the limitation of this kind of existence we are living in. In the dream world, it is all free energy. Not here. That's the challenge. Otherwise, this wouldn't be interesting. Also, this is just the next level of hopium after or before renewable energy. Forget it. It's a world of fantasy, he says. Tesla invented today's energy generation concept, the electric motor, etc. Nothing magical, something from nothing. Maybe Elon Musk will deliver that at the expense of government subsidies and shareholder money. He will tell you it is free, but it is not. This is all baloney. Austria, India, are you kidding me? He says India has no toilet for 600 million of its people. That's twice the U.S. population. So he's saying, which I don't 100% agree with, because that is the guy that was the scientist that passed away in November was from India. I mean, but these are comments. These are comments, and people have so many different ways of going. I just find this whole thing fascinating. I just do. Michael said, we don't need technology. Technology will not solve the problems technology itself created. I got a good one from Philip Stone. Philip is a really cool person. Philip lives on a boat he built. And if the shit ever hits the fan, Philip's off. He's off on the boat. Free electrical energy can be generated when a basic long-range force of the universe, that is just gravity and the electric field, such as protons and electrons naturally emit by their existence, can be shielded from, not felt as one traverses their gradients. And a way exists to then re-enter those fields at a point of higher gradient. Gravity cannot yet be shielded from. Everyday metals shield from electric fields. Makes sense? Charged particles are actually attracted to the inside of metal objects once they are brought inside, even through shielded pathways. Note, electric fields are even excluded from enclosed metal spaces that have holes in them. That's the Faraday effect. See, this whole thing has been like one physics class. And I found this so fascinating. And I hope you do too. And even if you don't, I had a really good time doing this. No physicist or engineer has found a hole, and he's laughing, in my explanation of this theory, including the head of the University of Rochester Particle Accelerator Facility, which relies on this Faraday effort to run their 2 million volt Van de Graaff generator for particle physical experiments. Pretty cool. And that's not far from me. Not far at all. So I think I'm going to leave you with my buddy from, I believe he's from Holland. Oh my God, Forrest. All right. Forest Dweller. He's an outside guy. He films wildlife. I think he's a biologist, ecologist, something along those lines. But he's a lot of fun. And here you go. Free energy is like a world without violence. Never happened, never will. Tesla was nice because he was altruistic. He used up energy, though. The cheapest energy for me is when I dwell around and the natural food almost lands in my mouth. Food is the best energy, but I need more energy to digest it. I will either become grotesquely obese or die. Damn it, can't win. He's laughing. And now I need water because digestion makes me thirsty. Beer is mostly water. Let us invent limitless beer. Jesus did the same thing, and he is still rather popular. Come on, you got to admit. And then there was like 5 replies down below this. And I said, well, Forrest, we can't all win. And he's like, right? He says, oh, we should discuss cannibalism as a form of energy. It would be more relevant in many ways. And then, because at the end of my video, I mentioned Oliver North and how sickening and disgusting it is that he's going to be the head of the NRA, you know, the war criminal piece of shit he is. And he wrote, glad you mentioned Ollie North, by the way, because if I had the chance ever, I would kick his fucking nuts so hard, he would be spitting them out on the pavement. Oh, I had fun with this. I just did. So, you see, never a dull moment in the line of doing any kind of online, either if it's really good journalism or if it's reading something yesterday that I just thought was interesting that I really don't know a lot about. And when something fascinates me, whether or not it's right or wrong or scientifically, you know, I love scientific facts. Trust me, I'm not going there. My whole point is that these people are just amazing. And even on Facebook, I don't know if I can find the vid now. That's the problem. I lost that vid. I had the comments up. I had some great Facebook ones too. Let me see if I have any more to share. I think I did a pretty good job. Oh, let's end with this one. Quote, science is but a perversion of itself unless it has as its ultimate goal the betterment of humanity. And that was Nikola Tesla. So yesterday asked the questions or read the article about, is this even something? Is this a thing? Can I understand some of the physics behind it? And you know, even though I found a lot of stuff that said debunked it, and that was fine, you know, debunked all of it and the Reddit pages and all, to me, it was great. And maybe because I'm becoming like this gigantic geek and nerd that wants to learn all kinds of things that I didn't learn in my prior lifetimes, as a HR director or as a bartender, I certainly didn't need quantum physics or physics when I was slinging drinks at people and getting them drunk. So that's going back a long time. So let's see. I want to read that big one. Here's Arthur. If there was such a thing as free energy, there isn't, of course. People would be using it to make money. That's what I said yesterday. Yes. And then Kevin. Oh, Kevin's got something going on. Time to be aware of Black Swan events. Go to Kevin Hester Live. Kevin's our buddy. He's our friend. I got to interview Kevin again. This time I have a better connection. When I interviewed Kevin the last time, it was like my old laptop, which couldn't pull in a signal from across the yard. Now I've got something different, so I can pull in a better one. Okay, Michael. Let's see. TikTok. Science Academy is finally waking up from its own suppression. You know what amazes me is the stupidity of self-belief that by simply adapting to heat increases is the future. The best example is the stupidity of the New Zealand government, like all others, which takes the ignorant environmental approach that it's all about rising sea levels in 150 years up 27 centimeters, which is the focus. And we need to prepare for that by building pole houses, basically. The fact is NOGAF in reality about the lapses in necessary changes that we have now passed to arrest the situation. In less than 10 years from now, we will have mass extinctions from plants, animals, and human forms. Well, I can't dispute it. I don't have a time on it. I feel we've passed the tipping point. I make no bones of that. I look at every political situation. I look at all of the things going on around the world. I look at our country. I look at the deregulation. I look at everything you do, all the articles we print. How are we going to go and keep going when we're at 412 parts per million of CO2 in our atmosphere, which is blanketing us and essentially killing us and killing everything else? But so I don't bring all gloom. I said, hang on to that little glimpse of hopium that we can live for today, and we can do what we have with what we have left. And I'm not going to pretend that reading about some free energy, technology is going to come and swipe us up and save us from ourselves, because major life changes have to happen. And I don't see it happening. I don't do it myself. If I had more options, I would. I try. We do our own little thing. But my little thing and my recycling and all the little efforts that we all make, maybe collectively will mean something locally, but it isn't going to get Donald Trump and all of them out of the White House. It isn't going to make this country heal overnight from its slide into fascism. And I'll call it eco-fascism. We're ruining our country. And I did a piece a couple of days, what was it, about Terry Pagula, the fracking king around here, who, the politicians just ass lick because he has billions of dollars. Oh, we have Lucis Delgado. Let's see. Maybe this is a different look into pyramids that was built around the world. Tesla knew the ancient civilization had the knowledge and wisdom on free energy and health and wellness. I use pyramids and crystals to heal my chakras and vibrational frequency. Well, I understand. I do understand. I know what my chakras are. That was a very thoughtful comment. And I think that's where the direction of some people is with all this. It's more of I would say a spiritual health and wellness type thing and a meditative, at least what I read. But of course, I've had 24 hours to follow up, and I haven't done much. So I'm going to say hi to another great friend. Hello, Marcella Marlene. It is just lovely to see you all. So basically that's it for today. I just wanted to read those few comments, circle back on that article, which did bring up a lot of discussion, and people answered questions, and there was a lot of one or the other. Of course, most of what I found was the other. Scientists, physicists push back. This doesn't exist. It's just more to learn about. All of you have a great day. Peace. I love you. I got to run. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next time. I'm going to be doing a piece on the carbon footprint of cosmetic industry. I'm doing the research there. Oh, Fred just came in. Hi, Fred. Fred says, put a north pole of a magnet to a south and tell me where is that energy coming from? These are all great questions, and this is the beginning of the journey on this side, at least for me, because I do have a lot of stuff. And thank you, Fred, so much, because it opened up a world of inquisitive nature in me, and I don't know if anybody else, and I'm nowhere on it. I'm in the middle, and I just want to learn. Okay, I gotta say bye. Peace. Ciao. See you next time.